So whenever we have an opportunity like this, we want to get those things that are kind of, if we don't get them now, we may not see this for another 2, 3, 4 years, while the older pieces just keep getting older and eventually die, if you will. One other thing that I wanted to mention around that area is the safety nets. Last I heard of that conversation, and obviously I don't know because I just got reminded last night about this, and I sent an email to the middle school, but I didn't get a response. Last I knew, the middle school assistant principal, Mrs. Costa, was pursuing either some fundraising or getting some money through activities that they were going to do to raise funds. And then I'm not sure if she had already gotten quotes. I know we didn't do it here at the high school, but I know she was working on it at the middle school. But honestly, when she left, it never made it back up to my attention. That could be something we do. What I've given you is a list of all the things we could do. Doesn't mean we have to do them all. But when we get to this time of the year, the problem is whatever money you have left has to be spent by June 30th. So the service has to be provided in hand so you can pay the bill. Some of these things, we only have 2 weeks. Some of these things have been waiting for today to send out and hope to God that we can get back the services or the materials in time. Otherwise, the money just goes into the end of the year monies that get sent back to the town as part of the free cash flow that they get. And again, then it's up to the town to see how they're going to use that. We already have, apparently from town meeting, there was over $100,000 worth of budget deficit that we would have to get out of free cash. So anything we send to the town will hopefully in some way come back to filling the coffers, but it could also be, I don't know, the town may get another 150 and then we don't know where it's going to go. So I'm coming to you with, here are things that we can use, here are things that we probably are going to spend money on it anyway, whether now or next year. And I'm saying, that's where we were coming from. I did give you a list of the books as well, an additional $53,000 that we could use. But that was where I was going with this presentation last week.
Through the chair.
Thank you. Okay.
For now, there's other things I want to bring up, but at least let's talk about this.
Go ahead. All right.
The truck for maintenance, if we were to give the go-ahead for that now, would it be done in 2 weeks' time to where that's a done deal, or?
I don't know now.
And were we allowed to encumber the money at all and say it's spent and just, how is that done?
It's a question that we would have of the facility that provides them. Usually you call them up and you say, do you have one available? Because it's on the state bid list, you don't have to go through 3 bidders and you can go above the $25,000 threshold. That's why they do the state bid lists. Whether they'll have one available to make it available to us so we can say, yeah, we pay the bill by June 30th, it's ours. Usually what happens is you pay for the truck and then they have to outfit it. So they may have all the components, and as long as they have the components and we sign the papers, the truck is ours.
Okay.
Whether they then need to put the plow
Whether
on
it's
it,
4 wheels
put
on the
the
ground or
lights.
not, may not make a difference, as long as
Right.
the PNS is signed and paid.
But if
for.
they don't have one on the lot, then
Mr. Duart's actually here. if you
we're
can
deep
answer
duty.
that.
It's my turn. They had one left. If the truck was, if we were gonna buy it and it was still there, it would be ours, he would save it for us. If they sold it last night, we'd have to go to a 2012.
And that would not, then we would not be able to do it, not with this money.
Okay.
Because the 2012s are not out.
Not on the
so
ground
we
yet.
can't pay for
September,
something that we
October.
didn't get.
Like, this is a chassis cab.
Right now, this is a utility body, like similar like the truck that I have right now. It's a work truck, that's what it is. I keep all my tools in there, all my parts in there. I service the schools with this truck. When my truck goes down, and I don't have my truck, it's a big problem on my end because everything, my livelihood is in that truck. If I don't have the truck, it changes my work schedule drastically.
No, we can still keep the truck into the fleet, though, correct? We're not going to be...
Absolutely.
Well,
Oh,
we
I'm not
have,
off.
Get rid of it.
no, not his truck.
We'll still
We
keep
have
that in the fleet.
we have one that's dead.
Yeah, we have a 1977, and there's a long story with this, but we got that from the highway department 10 plus years ago.
And they get it from somebody else. And
Yeah, I mean,
Probably.
God knows how many miles.
It was
on
one
that.
they didn't want anymore, believe it or not.
But yeah,
Okay.
that's dead, that's not worth, I wouldn't spend a nickel on that any further. That's-
Okay.
So, yeah, that's.
We'll
what
probably
it is.
spend a couple of nickels to get somebody to tow it to the...
That's the last thing I want to spend on it, to tow it.
Yeah.
Are you good, Eric?
So
Yeah, 'cause I'm
I
sure
don't know.
Everyone's going to be asking pretty much the same question, so I'll
Was it
yield the
about the
floor to
truck?
somebody else.
Okay, I'm going to
All
yield to Tony.
right, go ahead, Tony.
Like this particular place, I mean,
Yeah.
usually if they don't have one on the lot, they do a search and they try to find one, you know, wherever.
I can, first of all, if it comes to, if you want to go ahead with this, I'll call him and we'll see what's maybe still available. And if not, like I said, I'll push him and see if we can do something. But this company here is the one that's on the state bid list,
Right.
and we can just buy directly right from him.
And you want the gas, not the diesel.
Right.
Yeah, it does make a difference when you're using it as a plow truck to diesel versus
You don't need a
gas.
diesel. You don't need
It's
it.
it's a pain in the butt in the winter, especially
Just
when
on
it's
that.
really
You
cold.
I have no idea.
$7,000 for something.
Well, I've worked...
I'm thrilled with the gasoline engine.
Yeah, we've worked with, or at least I've worked with companies like this before, and it really depends what they have. They have some limited availability to trade with other places to make it available, but the problem is they put on the state bid list what they will have available. So unless they can get exactly what they put on the state bid list and make it available to us through the state bid list, they may be able to get it on the truck. But if it's not one on the state bid list, we still can't do it. So these things are
Oh, you
kind of time sensitive.
Does that answer your question? Okay. Jim?
If no one has any other truck-related questions, thank you. No, I'm serious about that, because I wanted to actually talk about the smart board versus whiteboard, and maybe Beth would answer, if she'd be kind enough.
Oh, yeah.
So the second line under technology is the Mimeo smart board.
Yes.
And how many does that number represent?
If we just get the Mimeo, it will be 30 classrooms, which would make the whiteboard interactive. If we opt to mix Mimeo setup with some document cameras, and I have some English teachers and science teachers that would really like a document camera, basically, you can put something opaque, you can demonstrate a dissection and it
Yep.
shows up on the screen. You can record that as well,
Okay.
all of those kind of things.
All right, so the whiteboards down below where it says
Yes.
maintenance, that's just,
Those are plain old vanilla whiteboards.
all right, so under maintenance,
You're
you're
not
talking
even
about
that.
resurfacing
Yeah.
them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's why it really goes under maintenance is taking.
Right.
Well, I did a survey with the teachers just to make sure that we were all on the same page. And one of the questions I asked the teachers, if we were to mount a projector in your room, do you have a whiteboard to
That's not all
project
smeared
it?
black, blue, red.
No, oh, no.
Oh, no, no,
Oh,
we
no,
didn't even go
it's
there.
worse than that.
They're worse than that?
I got answers from teachers that said, if I had a chalkboard that the kids could read, that would be great. I was just horrified. It's one of those things when you walk through a building, maintenance does such a great job that you feel like things are in good shape until you look. And especially here at the high school, Mike is right along with me. These boards are, what did we say, you're 50 years old now? So, chalkboard.
Whiteboards?
No, chalkboards.
Chalkboards.
Chalkboards, after 50 years, two things happens to them. Either they are so smooth that you cannot write on them at all, or somebody has gotten desperate enough to request that they get painted with chalk, in which case it's like writing on asphalt.
Yeah.
So the teacher's saying, look, one class I go through 2 sticks of
Right.
chalk because it's got that kind of.
Surface.
So the thought was, let's try and solve all these problems in one fell swoop. At the high school, it will be just sort of get rid of the chalkboards and put up the
Install
whiteboards.
the whiteboards.
And that's more because the frames around the chalkboards here are, what do you call it? It's like a picture frame, like they stick
Right.
out in the chalkboard's back.
Right.
Yeah. At the middle school, they're a flush mount, so those you can retrofit over. It'll be a little bit easier installation. So we're not going to, even at this, we're not going to be able to cover every chalkboard, but at least the front of the room where the projector will be, hopefully, will be whiteboard. And those Mimeo boards, if you've seen them, they are magnetic. They stick to wherever you need them to stick.
Okay, talk to me a little bit about that, because I don't understand the Mimeo board interactivity.
Okay, so what happens is it's a Bluetooth connection with the computer. So you stick this unit onto the board. Some of our teachers came here yesterday to see a demonstration. They're so excited.
Okay.
It has like a pen.
Okay,
So and that then plugs into the projector. So it's essentially a mouse, but more than a mouse. So that you can you can work your computer right from the board,
Okay.
just like a smart board.
Smart board.
The only thing,
Okay.
the only difference is a smart board you
You use
can
your
touch.
finger.
Right.
The Mimeo board, you need to use the pen.
Yeah,
device.
okay.
But the difference is the Mimeo piece is $714. The smart board, as we know, depending on, you can go up to $4,000 if you like. Both
Right.
need projectors, and you don't lose the functionality of a regular whiteboard,
You could write
which
on it.
teachers felt
Yeah.
was important. So as much as I would still say smartboard is absolutely the right choice for our elementary school, I still stand by that because kids like to use their finger and drag, and they can just pick up whatever color they want to write in. They can write with their fingers. A high school student or a middle school student doesn't need that same kind of piece. So I've done a lot of research on these because, as you know, there's many flavors out there. And this seems to be, there's like no batteries, it recharges, it's got a 5-year warranty. If it falls on the floor, it's still covered. So,
Okay, thank you.
any other
Through the chair.
questions?
Yeah, last night at the Westport Middle School Association meeting,
Yes.
they talked about the same boards. That 30 that we're hopefully going to buy,
That would, now you
and
realize
not
it was
include the 8 that's coming from the West Mac PTO and the,
what? Okay,
middle-
West Mac PTO, that's
Those are
different,
whiteboards.
and that's 4. It's not
okay,
8.
that's four for them.
Right.
There was talk about 4 for the high school, and Mr. Simonelli asked last night of the Middle School Association to buy 1, and I think we're going to be buying 1. So is that going to be
It
now
would be-
38?
No.
Or is that going to be
No.
included in the 30?
This is third. There's a couple different things here.
What are they
The
discussing?
West Mac PTO
These right here.
gratefully
The
has
smart boards.
So that's the
opted to
30?
do 4 setups for the elementary school. And I have a good enough relationship with them that I knew that was coming. So actually, part of this projector is,
So that's included.
it's going to be included so that they get the 5 that they need for
For
the
the red
third
one.
grade. Because
Right.
who are you going to choose to leave out? That
Sure.
doesn't seem fair. And then 1 for this special ed room. So
Okay.
there's sort of that plan that we have going on at the elementary school. This amount for the Mimeo Interactive represents 30 setups. My plan was 15 here at the high school, 15 at the middle school. When I talked to Mr. Simonello, he said he was going to a PTO meeting. My suggestion was, I knew they had been talking about trying to
Get
do
1.
something, and their price right now is $714 a piece as opposed to $799 when you're buying them individually.
Yes,
When you
that's what
do
you
in
mentioned to
bulk.
us last night. If we
Right.
could, if we could jump on the bandwagon with you
Right.
buying what you're buying, we can get it
Right.
for